And welcome once again to another episode of the Horizon Roundtable. I am Bob McDonald, and you can find me on Twitter at Bob McDonald. And joining me, of course, is my co-host Matt Dudek.
Hey there, everybody.
And Matt, you can find on Twitter at GrizzTalkOU, and you can follow the podcast on Twitter as well at HorizonRT, and on Facebook at Horizon Roundtable. And Matt, this is actually one of my favorite times of the year because the season is going to start for real next week or this week. And joining us are members of the of student media from around the Horizon League. So without any further ado, I know we have a couple of them on. A couple of them should be coming on later on. But we'll start with Detroit Mercy. Jorge, would you please introduce yourself?
How you doing, everyone? My name is Jorge Reyna with the University of Detroit Mercy's Varsity News. Been there for about a year now, and ready to be on. Thank you for having me.
All right, thanks. And then from the Jam Bar at Youngstown State, we have Brian Yager.
Hi, guys. I'm Brian. I've been the sports editor since January, and I also write for the Tribune Chronicle in Warren.
So you are familiar with one of our previous guests, John Vargo, I would assume.
Yes. Yeah, we sit next to each other in the office.
Aha! So yeah, that's thing, and unfortunately, I just came to find out that Michael Pierce was from the Oakland Post, who also writes for us at HorizonRoundtable.com. Unfortunately, will not be able to make it. And I'm a little sad about that one because I really wanted to have him on. And then also too, I think we're all right. And then also too, we are going to have Sierra Newton from the Northerner, which is Northern Kentucky's publication, and she will be joining us shortly if I can get her or add her onto Skype. Unless that doesn't work. So let's go ahead and let's try that again. Okay, here we go. All right, so again, the season has started, and unfortunately, we were also unable to. We were going to be bringing on, try to bring on somebody from Wright State's publication, The Guardian. Unfortunately, they are still in the process of finding a sports writer. So if you're interested in writing sports for Wright State and you're a student, go ahead and get them on. Give them a call. So, but yeah, so as we're going, the season starts this week for a lot of people, and also I should point. I know one programming note too. We are going to have the voice of Detroit Mercy, Dan Hasty. We're going to be recording. We're going to be talking to him right before the season. So you don't want to miss that. I know Detroit. I know Jorge. Detroit Mercy starts on a little later than everybody else. Their games start on the 10th.
Yeah, they started a little later than everybody else. I know the women's basketball for sure starts this coming Tuesday, I believe.
Okay.
So that's something to look forward to.
Nice.
But the men's start later on.
Yeah. So, and as we've been talking about over and over again on the podcast, there's still that they did get some good news. Obviously, they got some good news from the NCAA with what is it? Justin Miller, is it? The forward.
Justin Miller, big time forward.
Yes. So he gets his transfer waiver, so he's going to be able to play. But of course, as we've been talking about for a while now, the specter of the APR ban is still looming in there, and the NCAA is still taking their sweet old time trying to get this get the appeal together. So, in your summation, how has that been affecting? How has that affected, Detroit Mercy? I mean, obviously it hasn't affected Antoine Davis because he's Antoine Davis, but how does that affect the rest of the team?
I think it affects it pretty good. You know, you just want the best on your roster to be out there. You know, starting off the game and everything.
Sure.
I think it's really different this year since over half the team's incoming transfers actually. So it's tough. You know, you want to get your paperwork in. You want to get everything in order for your best to be out there. Because of course we got Justin Miller coming from Louisiana. We got other prospects like Brad Calipari and some other big time people that are going to be coming in. So we just want their paperwork and everything in order, just so we have the best drive out there.
Now Detroit has a weird, and that's a weird situation in Detroit because according to verbal commits, they still have some scholarships available because a couple of the guys kind of don't need them.
Yeah, they do.
So that kind of helps. I'm sure that helps. That that might help if it's a decision arises and they want to bring somebody else aboard. But on the other side, Brian, on the Youngstown State side, obviously, this is year three of the Jared Calhoun era. So, what kind of they already have a dynamic core already. They're one of the few teams that didn't lose anybody, didn't lose a starter, and you also have you're going to have outstanding play from Darius Quisenberry, Naz Bohannon. I'm sure I'm missing a few other people, but yeah. But with that core in that starting core in there, how do you see Youngstown State moving forward?
I really see YSU as a team on the up and up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this year is going to be a year where they do some serious damage, but it's going to be another building year, another year of the process, as the term has been coined now.
Sure.
But I think the seeds are really planted for a breakout year for Quiz to even progress even further.
Wow.
And yeah, I think by next year the team will be in a lot better shape going forward. But this is a transition year as Garrett Covington and Naz Bohannon are now up to classmen.
And Sierra, welcome aboard. Sierra Newton, of course, is represents the Northerner at Northern Kentucky. I know you came in a little late. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay, hi, my name's Sierra Newton. I am a senior at Northern Kentucky University, and I am the sports editor for our student-run newspaper, The Northerner.
Nice. And we were just going through kind of everybody's individual team prospects. Obviously, Northern Kentucky probably has some of the change. Obviously, they have some significant changes, including a head coach.
Yeah. So, looking to up there, I guess.
So, sorry, yeah. But and also you lost Drew McDonald too. So, but you still do have Jalen Tate and Tyler Sharp as well. So,
hopefully as a season, to get fun in on that.
So that's good. Of course, and of course the team, everybody, as everybody on the preseason has prognosticated, the team to beat. According to everybody, is Wright State. So, when you guys look at the Wright State, and you look at your own respective teams, what do you think it will take what do you think it's going to take to knock Wright State off this year?
Yeah, to knock Wright State off, I definitely feel like it's going to have to be finding out who the big guy's going to be, because of course they still have Loudon Love, and we don't have of course replacing Drew McDonald, that's not going to be a thing because Drew's his own kind of person, but looking for a post player that's going to stand up to Loudon and be, that true post that we need.
I see. And I think we've talked a little bit about the Loudon Love's presence over previous podcast episodes. So if you have a big man playing for your school, it's going to be a big advantage. Like it may be Oakland's, right, Matt?
We have 3 of them actually. It's wonderful.
Rub it in, why don't you?
Hey, if we still need a point guard though, but I mean, we've got picks.
That's true. Because you guys kind of need one because you guys are the other thing too. I know everybody's been kind of warming up with the exhibition games. Naturally, it looks like most of the teams in the Horizon League, specifically Northern Kentucky, didn't have any problems with their exhibition opponent. Cleveland State, on the other hand, did.
Good.
Oh yes, Matt. Yes, we know. Yeah, they lost to Notre Dame College, and for anybody not Notre Dame University, Notre Dame College, which is a smaller Division II school in the Cleveland suburbs. I actually took teaching classes there once, but yeah, so they lost. They lost to Notre Dame College, and I don't know what happened. Actually, I do know what happened. They couldn't hit the broadside. In terms of shooting, they couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. So I'm looking. So, and of course, Cleveland State has been picked to finish last, and so call me crazy, but that really doesn't help matters when you're losing. I guess the good news is that the game didn't count.
Right.
It is also noteworthy that neither Jalen Hill nor Torrey Patton, the two guys who are probably going to produce all of their scoring this year, didn't play either. But when you guys look at it, how do you guys perceive these exhibitions? You know, like I said, they don't count, but they got to mean something, right?
I think certainly it does. You know, coming from the fact that, especially coming from a team like from Detroit Mercy standpoint, you know, you're throwing like a bunch of new guys out there trying to get to know each other. Yeah, you're doing it in practice and everything, trying to get to know each other's standpoints of what they go by. Well, I think that exhibition game really gets some, you know, feel of each other. You know, we have Antoine Davis with a big man and everything, and you know, it really helps out everyone just so they can see what each other got.
For YSU, a team that has a core that's pretty stable from last year coming into this year, it's just a way to refine. I mean, this team's already relatively established lineup-wise, so it's a good way to get those bench players in that haven't seen any game time, and for the core to refine their games.
Sure. I'm not sure what Cleveland State's doing. I'll be honest. Well, they got a lot of holes to fill, so like I'm sure that's gonna be one thing. But honestly, and I'm sure that's gonna I'm sure that's the case pretty much all around the league. I mean, especially at Northern Kentucky, I'm sure adjusting to a new coach and some new players and kind of working some things around. I'm sure that exhibition win that they had was really helpful for the North. So,
yeah, sorry, I'm going in and out.
Oh, yes. No, that's okay, Sierra. I understand. Yeah, Sierra is actually on the road right now, coming back from a college media conference. So in Washington D.C., I believe.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. So don't worry. We'll give you the benefit of the doubt. You're fine.
Yeah, sorry if I'm a little late on that.
It happens. It won't be the first time it happens. So, but yeah. So this week, and as I'm looking at this week, by and large, most of the games on Tuesday are kind of, this is where, it's looking like a lot of the Horizon League schools are just kind of basically this is it. They're starting kicking off the season with the home game against the obligatory home game against a non-Division I opponent. So that's Wright State's playing Central State. Goshen is in India from Indiana is playing Oakland. Northern Kentucky's got UC Claremont. I didn't even know University of Cincinnati had a Claremont campus. And Youngstown State's playing Deal. The only one who's actually playing, and of course Cleveland State's playing. They're playing a bye game against Minnesota. So, But when you look at those, as you look at the season coming up, especially these first week games, it doesn't look like there's going to be too many surprises as it relates to kind of the results this week, but is it one of those, especially with the teams playing the non-Division I games, what is the end goal for those is going to be for those teams? Is it just going to be kind of a more glorified, more refined version of an exhibition game, except for the fact that it counts? Because that's all I always perceived it over the years. Or more to the point, it's an opportunity to create, to have kind of an easy home game after maybe a tough stretch on the road, which I believe is what's going to happen to Cleveland State because they have a game against Edinburgh on Saturday, and they're doing that in between pretty rough stretches of their schedule.
I feel like for NK, sorry.
No, go ahead, Sarah.
Okay, I feel like for NKU, this is definitely time for them to fine-tune some things, be able to play somebody besides themselves. And even though they had some time during the summer to play some games, they didn't have everyone back at that moment. Sure. And now they actually have, I think, just about the full roster. So being able to play somebody else that is considered a game to count towards their record, I think this will really be a test to see how well they actually work together, how well that the systems that Coach Horn's putting in is working for them. And so it'll definitely just be like the first step to see what they need to work on, and from there they can definitely build.
Sure.
I think go ahead. Finish it.
No, go ahead. You're fine.
I was just, from the Oakland perspective, I think that the Goshen game is more about Campy really starting to establish his 8 or 9 man rotation, which he's big on right now. He's been playing a lot of people through the first 2 exhibitions.
Sure.
So it's starting to hone in on what that rotation is going to be and who's going to be the point guard. Is it going to be Kangu? Is it going to have to be Gettelfinger? That's really still the big question mark for that team. So I think that the Goshen game for him is really trying to refine that before they go on the road to Florida for that tournament that they're doing.
Sure.
I think from a UDM standpoint, after they got called out for not maintaining the rate for the APR rate, so them not being able to participate in the tournament this year, they need to use the Horizon League as a standpoint. They need to use Horizon League. That's going to be their platform. Mercy has had a winning season in a couple years. So if they utilize, their stages and what they can do and everything, and plus they need to find what they're going to revolve around. Of course, they're going to revolve around Antoine Davis and everything, but they need. I think they're probably going to need more going out in the paint. They need more more people putting on more shots and just utilizing the platform. Especially if they're not even able to participate in the tournament this year.
And for YSU, I mean, their first 2 games could not be further apart from each other in the level, skill level. They open up on the back end of a doubleheader with the women's team against Teal College. Mm-hmm. And then their next game, they travel down to Louisville.
Yikes.
So, yeah. So they're going from a D3 school in Teal to a powerhouse in Louisville. So I'm not really sure. I can't really pinpoint what their thought process is there. I guess they really want to get themselves pumped up against Teal to go into Louisville to give them a shot of doing something.
Sure. Yeah, that's So looking at the schedule, yeah, it's kind of a balance, because there, while you have a Cleveland State that's jumping off the deep end immediately, as does IUPUI. They're actually Butler. They're actually playing Butler, which is funny because I can't remember the last Horizon League school that actually played Butler.
Alpha.
I think that might be the last one. And then Green Bay is going to the West Lafayette to play Purdue. So you could kind of see it, and then I see Northern Kentucky is going to follow up their home opener with a game against Missouri. Missouri is, from what I understand, has actually become a lot. Has turned it around quite significantly over the past year or so.
Yeah, I think it's just he's trying to get those that we haven't had the opportunities.
Sure. So, I think we lost the air again. So, and I also saw that UIC is playing Memphis now. Of all these games, I know a lot of these are the quote unquote bye games. Where, when you look at the schedule, do we have any opportunities for some potential surprises? Because there's always one Power 5 school that kind of trips up and loses in one of the early season games. And as far as the Horizon League schedule, is there an opportunity there? I mean, I see one possible one is the game on Friday between UIC and Memphis, because I don't know. Yeah, they got Penny Hardaway as their coach, but I am not really 100%. I don't know what their team's going to look like.
I don't think YSU is going to come out of Louisville with a win.
No.
But they did surprisingly well against Ohio State last year for first half.
That's true.
So yeah. I would be surprised if they gave Louisville a bigger fight than they expect.
Like I said, it's going to be an interesting mix of games this week. Sure, we'll be recapping those next week. Well, actually, no, we won't, because we'll be talking to Dan Hasty. But the big thing is, as we're looking at the season now. When you look at your schedules, your respective non-conference schedules, and Jorge, you actually brought up a good point, because obviously with the APR ban still in place for Detroit Mercy, it seems like their primary focus is to get ready for the conference schedule. But that notwithstanding, and Detroit Mercy has a tough schedule this year, because they're going to a lot of different places and a lot of power. They schedule quite a few heavy hitters. So when you look at a schedule, the Detroit Mercy schedule, how do you feel that they're going to fare in these games, or is this just going to be basically kind of like you said, it's the focus for now is get to the conference schedule and let the chips fall as they may during the non-conference.
I think focus now is trying to get to the conference schedule. They didn't finish too bad in last year's conference, going 8 for 10, but I think they want to get better. And okay. I think head coach Mike Davis is really trying to lead them in that direction right now, trying to make sure that they're prepared for this conference league, because of course they're going against big schools like Clemson, North Carolina State. They're going to Louisiana. Their schedule is all around the place right now.
Yeah.
Pre-conference, so we're actually not even going to see the men play until December when they play Eastern Michigan. So it's going to be quite a minute until we see the boys at Callahan Hall. But I think the point right now is just for them to build and build and build so they can get to that conference schedule. Since APR ban, they want to see what they can do, because that's the main platform that they're going to go off of.
Sure.
Since they're not eligible for the NCAA tournament, you got to work with what you can get, and you want to make the most out of it.
Yeah, and that's got to be hard when you're not even going to be you're not going to be at home for an entire until December. I mean that's going to be kind of hard for them. But but you look at the but you look at the schedule. You see some opportunities. I like for example, I look at that Clemson game. That is I consider that an interesting matchup myself, only because of the fact that Clemson Clemson, Wright State gave Clemson a battle in the NIT last year, and I would see that as a potential opportunity for Detroit Mercy, especially if Antoine Davis goes off for 40+ points, which he has the tendency to do, and has the ability to do, more to the point.
Yeah, Antoine Davis is really the big standout feature this year. I even talked to him the other day, asking him about pressure, because him coming off breaking Steph Curry's freshman year record of him becoming freshman player of the year, and he's getting all these accomplishments and acknowledgments. And I asked him, does this put pressure on you? Because you coming out of a monster of a freshman year, just put pressure on you to do more. And he said, no, it's not really about pressure. It's more about just him utilizing it and just him doing the best he can do and getting better. So, it's really tough right now for probably for him to focus right now. But at the same time, he has really great teammates that I've been able to meet and everything that really have his back. But yeah, expect some big things from Antoine Davis this year. Sure. Plus, he got nominated for the Jerry West Award for shooting guards.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, we saw. Yeah, that's something we haven't even talked about. The Jerry West Award. Because I know that came out. A couple weeks ago. That list.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is not that is definitely a very a step in the right the right direction for Antoine, and I know he's been showing up on all these lists of best players in college basketball too. So so I'm sure he'll only get better as time goes on, without a doubt. And Detroit, yeah.
I was just saying, I've actually even tweeted this to Antoine. I've never met Antoine personally, but we tweet back and forth a little bit.
Yeah.
I can't wait till he goes to the NBA so I can root for that guy, because I really want to like him, but I'm just not allowed to yet. I really like everything about him. He seems super humble. I really like Antoine Davis. I just can't wait till he's not at Mercy so I can root for him.
I'll tell you this right now. Antoine Davis is probably one of the chillest guys you're ever going to meet. Every interview I've probably ever had with the guy, this being my freshman year, any interview I've had with them, he's always been welcoming to it. He's always he's a really humble person, and that's something that really stands out about him, that, from off the court, he's a really humble person, and he really just stands out in a big way, and his presence is known. When you're at the practice, taking pictures or, trying to write a story or anything, his presence is known on the court. Nice.
So I wanted to switch gears a little bit, because obviously we're still talking about as a Horizon League as mid majors go, it's there's always transfers coming in, transfers coming out, and I wanted to talk to you guys because Matt and I actually have a standalone bonus episode about this very subject. But I want to talk a little bit about the transfer, the transfers around the Horizon League, as well as some of the, as well as kind of your thoughts on the waiver process now, which I'm still trying to figure out, and because it seems to be a little herky-jerky, because some players like Justin Miller are getting their waivers approved, others like Rashad Williams from Oakland are not. And so I want to get your guys' opinion on the whole transfer waiver situation, specifically specifically if it happened to have affected your school. Sierra, I know that when Chris Vogt left, he to go to Cincinnati to join John Brannon. I know if I understand it correctly, his waiver was already approved, so he's going to be playing immediately. I guess not. So yeah, that's it. So for in your case, in Detroit Mercy's case, obviously, you have the Justin Miller thing. Youngstown State didn't really have to worry about any of these things this year, which I'm kind of surprised by.
Yeah.
So I guess that's kind of a testament to the stability of what Jared Calhoun is trying to build at Youngstown State in year 3, because I know last year he had a couple of significant transfers, but he's kind of gotten over that because like I said, he's got all 5 of his starters coming back.
No, there's been a real culture change here, and it seems like the whole team's bought in to what Calhoun's selling.
Sure.
And I think Calhoun has finally been able to take a full control of the team.
Good. And it really showed. We saw glimmers of it last year. When they went on their winning streak. And you kind of saw them meshing together between, and you definitely saw kind of the emergence of Darius Quisenberry.
No, yeah, he's so good, and the sky's the limit for him. I don't know how much better he can get, because he's already blown me away numerous times. But
sure,
he's only a sophomore. Yeah, if he stays until he graduates, the sky's the absolute limit.
And that's another good question. Do we, you mentioned if he stays. That getting back to the transfer thing, the specter of transfers always looms large at a mid-major like the Horizon League. So when you look at your respective teams, do you worry that much that while your team is doing well now, do you worry that there might be the possibility of one of your star players deciding to leave?
Absolutely.
I think that's for any team. Yeah, you're just worried about that big factor just leaving.
Sure.
It's still a new feeling here because it's not like YSU players are getting that attention from the bigger schools.
True.
But now with Quisenberry emerging and Covington and Bohannon, Simmons all showing out, I mean, that I'm starting to get why everybody else is worried.
That's yeah. Well, I'm at a very. I was gonna say going into the off season, I was hoping that the transfer issue that Cleveland State apparently has, because apparently nobody wants to stay there anymore, would be gone. But we know that didn't work out. And now we got an almost entirely new team. So I'm going to venture to guess that transfers next year aren't going to be as many. But then again, you never know. I'm convinced that I'm convinced that Cleveland State's arena was built on an ancient Indian burial ground, like the movie Poltergeist or something. Because I think that place is cursed.
Is that why you hired such a bad AD?
Oh, jeez. Oh, that is a conversation for our bonus episode, which we will also be posting this week.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so kind of kind of wrap this up. I wanted to kind of get you, tell us all what you guys got coming up in your respective publications.
For varsity moves up here at Tremors, we're waiting for basketball season to start. Waiting for them to start against their home opener against Loyola. Then we're just waiting for the boys to come back home to play against Eastern Michigan. It's going to be a minute for us to watch the boys, but we're just waiting for basketball to come underway.
We're super excited at the Jam Bar for basketball season to start. We're sending a crew down to Louisville, myself included. We should have 4 people going. So, I mean, we're really excited for both men's and women's basketball to start.
Great. And Sierra, I know you're still, you might still be having technical difficulties. I don't know.
Yeah, I can hear you at this moment. But,
okay. Sorry.
Yeah, it was like a full 2 minutes where I was just getting every 2 seconds a little bit of what you guys are saying. But yeah,
miracles of modern technology.
NKU, we have our Yes, right. We have our basketball preview coming out on November 6th. So
Nice.
That will be an actual 12-page newspaper that we'll have on campus, as well as an online version of that package will be put out. So we're just really excited for this preview to come out because we worked really hard on it. And of course, our men's team, their first game is on Tuesday. Then our women's team will be playing Eastern Kentucky on Friday, I believe, and it'll be at EKU. So we're really excited for this season to get started on both ends. You know, we've got Molly Glick. It's her, I believe, her last year being eligible to play for NKU, and she's been just a really great player all the year she's been able to play for us. So just really excited for it.
All right. Well, I'd like to thank all of you guys for participating. Tell everybody where you guys we can find you guys online.
You can find me at on Twitter at _Brian Yager, BrianYauger.
And you can find the Jam Bar at the Jam Bar, correct?
Yes, and also if you just want to see our sports stuff, we have a separate Twitter at the Jam Bar Sports.
Okay.
We have a podcast, Igloo Review, with myself and a couple other people. We talk about all sports, not just YSU.
Nice.
You can find me, Jorge Reyna, on Instagram at jorge.reynajr, or you can find me on Twitter at ReynaJA05. And also you can catch the Varsity News on its own website, so varsitynews.net.
Okay.
So we read all the articles that we read about sports, about the on-campus experiences, and yeah, again.
And Sierra, where can everybody find you?
You can find me personally on So Flossie Writes, SOFLOSSIE little long, on Instagram and Twitter. And then for our sports on Twitter, you can find us at Northerner Sports. And then we also have our full publications, Northerner Media, on Twitter.
Okay. All right. Great. All right. So that's going to go ahead and wrap it up. Like I said, again, thank you guys all for participating in this. Again, as somebody who grew up, when I was at school, was a college media guy myself. Love the participation. Having students getting actively involved in writing about the goings on your respective campuses. So absolutely love that you guys were able to come on. So I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us on.
Thank you.
And as always, you can find episodes of the Horizon Roundtable on our website, horizonroundtable.com. You can also find episodes of the Horizon Roundtable on your favorite podcast app. We're everywhere, so shouldn't be too hard to find us anymore. And you can find us, you can actually open up your Amazon or Google devices, and you can pull us up on there. So that's going to do it for this week, and thank you for listening. And don't forget, we have that bonus episode too, if you haven't listened to it already.